Welcome back to The Explainer. We're breaking down everything that happened on SVO Showdown 249 live from Las Vegas, and let me tell you, the clock is absolutely ticking. With the biggest show of the year right around the corner, every single move matters. So, let's get into how the battle lines were drawn.
So, the big number you gotta keep in your head tonight, it's 4. That's right, including this show, there are only 4 events left until the SVO's biggest pay-per-view of the year. That means every match, every word spoken, every backstage brawl, it all happens under the shadow of that rapidly approaching deadline. The pressure is on.
And this is what it's all about, seasons beatings. You can think of it as the SVO's Super Bowl. It's where every rivalry comes to a head and every single championship is on the line. Just getting a spot on this card is a huge deal. And tonight, wow, the fight for those spots got incredibly intense.
Okay, so let's kick things off at the start of the show. We're talking about the fights for status here. These are the matches where wrestlers are just scratching and clawing to get noticed, to prove they deserve a piece of the spotlight at season's beatings.
First up, a classic clash of personalities. In one corner, you've got Platinum Emily Shaw. She just walks around with this air of I'm better than you, and the fans, oh, they just can't stand her. And facing her, Miracle Marty Murdoch, the ultimate underdog who's just thrilled to be there, fighting with nothing but pure heart.
And you know what? Murdoch almost did it. He was running on pure adrenaline and got shot down for a 2 count that made the whole arena gasp. But that was a mistake. All it did was make Shaw furious. She went straight to the cheap shots, a thumb to the eye behind the ref's back, and then boom, the royal flush. Ruthless. End of story. Then in the tag team match, we get a perfect lesson in how the Blood Money Soldiers operate. Their whole playbook is simple, right? They're brutal, they're skilled, but above all else, it is about family loyalty. So when the Sin City Scoundrels had them on the ropes, what happened? Their enforcer, Joe Barone, hits the ring while the refs turned around, takes out a scoundrel, and just like that, hands his family the win. Yep, it wasn't clean, but for them, it was just brutally effective business.
You know, sometimes the biggest moves of the night don't even happen in front of the crowd. We go backstage, and SVO owner John Page delivers this absolutely chilling order, setting up a match that was, let's be honest, less about competition and more about punishment.
So here's the deal. Page is just livid with fan favorite Jake Blackwood for a mistake last week. So he unleashes his personal weapon, the MMA hybrid monster Cade Turner, and his orders are simple. Don't just win, make an example of him, make it painful. This wasn't a wrestling match, it was a scheduled demolition.
And really, this was a classic story, wasn't it? On one side, you have Cade the Iron Fist Turner, basically the boss's hired goon, a bully who just thrives on intimidating people. And his opponent, Jake the Wild West Warrior Blackwood, the honorable, never-say-die fan favorite. It was a straight-up corporate hitman versus the people's hero.
In the end, Turner was the perfect weapon. I mean, Blackwood showed incredible heart. He even had a moment where you thought, maybe, just maybe, but Turner's cold, calculated brutality was just too much. He grounded him, wore him down, and then cinched in that devastating cross-face submission, the Iron Lock, leaving the Honorable Warrior no choice but to tap out. Message delivered.
You know, the road to season's beatings isn't always about titles and glory. For some people, it's way, way more personal. It's about revenge. And these next 2 stories, they are deeply personal.
So you've got this 20-year veteran, Jay Adder. He's the leader of a group called Generation Joint. His own protege, Jacob Izaz, turns on him, stabs him in the back to steal the spotlight. So tonight, Adder's looking for justice, and he gets it. The veteran outsmarts the kid and gets the victory. But that's not where it ended, not even close. After the bell, Izaz just ambushes him and absolutely destroys him with a steel chair.
And while Adder is just lying there in a heap, Izaz grabs a microphone and screams, letting everyone know exactly why he did it. He felt the veteran was just dead weight. So even though Adder got the win on paper, that vicious post-match assault makes one thing crystal clear. This war is just getting started, and it is going to get ugly.
Elsewhere, another fire just got lit. The arrogant Lone Star Colt Thompson decided he's not waiting in line for his shot at season's beatings. He jumps the international champion Masafumi Satake backstage, lays him out cold, disrespectfully tosses the title belt on his chest, and makes the challenge. Then, just to hammer the point home, he goes to the ring and systematically takes apart rising star Victor Holland, making him tap out before screaming a direct threat to Satake into the camera. Talk about making a statement.
All right, and that leads us to the main event. And if you thought the picture was messy before, well, the situation around the biggest prize in the company, The SVO Championship just went completely off the rails.
So think of this vote title picture like this crazy, complicated puzzle. You've got the champion, Carlos Vasquez, then you have Alex Sterling, who has a golden ticket, a guaranteed title shot at season's beatings. But then there's Angelo Anderson, who's challenging Vasquez for that very title next week. So whatever happens in tonight's main event could totally flip the script for the pay-per-view.
And the main event itself. Oh man, what a match. This was a certified dream match on paper. You had Adam Garcia, the calculated and cocky Spanish ace, and he's taken on Angelo Anderson, the cold, dominant, and seemingly unbreakable former champion. This was a legit clash of titans from two different worlds, finally meeting in an SVO ring.
And the match was everything you'd hope for. Just a total back-and-forth war. Garcia, he has the match won. He hits his finisher. But the ref is down. He got knocked out in the chaos. And in that one moment, with no law and order, a new player emerges. Danny, the Bully Domino, a former SVO champ with a history with Garcia, hops the barricade and attacks him from behind.
And that attack from Domino, that was all the invitation Angelo Anderson needed. He's a ruthless opportunist. He's not going to ask questions. He just watches Domino retreat, then he picks up the pieces. He drags the dazed Garcia back into the ring and hits his devastating elevated powerbomb, the Unbroken, for the controversial 3 count.
So, we go off the air in absolute chaos. Angelo Anderson now heads into his title match next week with a huge, albeit tainted victory. Adam Garcia has a brand new enemy in Danny Domino, and Alex Sterling is watching all this from the wings, knowing his guaranteed path to the title at season's beatings just got a whole lot more dangerous and unpredictable. The road to glory is paved with violence, and right now, who will be left standing at the end is anybody's guess.